Welcome back to Evoke Creativity with me, Tammy Collins. Today we're going to do more DIY handmade paper Christmas ornaments. Why? Because that's what I've been up to lately. I'm getting ready to get all my gifts out because I have to ship a bunch of them. So I'm working on all of the embellishments for that. That's what my creative time is around right now. So I thought, why not share that? Other people may want to know how to do these things as well. So I gave you a quick peek there of the three things that we're going to make today. An angel and a fluffy snowflake and this is actually made from a paper towel roll snowflake with some glitter. So what I did was I took the paper towel roll and I got inspired to do this because the paper towel roll was white. Usually they're brown. This one happened to be white. So I cut the paper towel roll into 1/4 inch strips or ovals, if you will. I just sort of flattened it out into my paper cutter and just sliced them at 1/4 inch. I am using a hot glue gun here, which you can see I'm a little frustrated with. It's leaving a lot of gnarly hairs and things of that nature, but I want an immediate bond so that it I can move a little quicker with it. So you could use, some double-sided sticky tape or something along those lines. Might be a little bit less messy. But once you get the hang of the glue gun, it works out just fine. So this first one, I'm just kind of experimenting. I've never done this before, so I was not really sure how many pieces I wanted or what I was after, so I just wanted to sort of play with it. I wanted to figure out how far up to put the glue and how much depending on how many of these little ovals that you put in there is how much it stretches when you seal it closed like this here. So I did a trial one just to kind of get a feel for it, and now I'm going to actually go in again and sort of do it a little bit more as a finished piece. So basically, I just cut these 1/4 inch ovals out of the paper towel roll, and I'm just gluing them together. I believe we do 6 of them here is what I'm after. And what I discovered in the first time is you don't want to put the glue too far up. And if you're going to use a hot glue gun, you want to limit the amount of glue that goes on there. I found the hot glue gun to be very helpful because you need that immediate bond because you're going to pull on them. And so here, the last one, I'm just going to stick those together. And we ended up with 6 ovals, if you will, for the snowflake. And so now I'm going to work on some additional elements. A snowflake has lots of great little crystals and all kinds of little arms and interesting little details. So I'm just creating another element here. And we're going to use 2.5 pieces. So this is the half piece that I'm kind of putting in the middle there to sort of make, it almost looks like a lotus flower, if you will. So I will make all of these to go in between all of the 6 main arms or petals or whatever you want to call those. So you can see there I just took the 2 and then I'll put them in, they're going to go right there. And I'm just thinking about what I might want to put in the center part. Now, if you notice, I ended up choosing the petal setup that had actually 7, which was the first one that I did. I just felt that it was a little bit more aligned better for where I was headed. The toilet paper roll or paper towel roll snowflake isn't a brand new craft, but it's a fun little, quick little, easy way to get a nice detail. I'm going to do something a little bit different to it coming up, so that may be of interest to you. And we're going to do a couple of really cool sort of vintagey feeling paper ornaments, which I really love to do. If you didn't already check it out, I have another video where we did the paper pinwheel ornaments, which were really cute. Those are one of my favorites to do. So if you like that kind of thing, be sure to check that video out. If you're new here, welcome. We do things perfectly imperfect around here. The idea is that I am just sharing my creative time. I am not trying to make perfect pieces. I'm just sharing my process, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. Okay, so now in the center there, I just did a single folded oval and then a half of one inside of it. And then I just glued those inside, and then the ones where I did a double folded oval with a half inside, I did on the outside. And so there it is. It's a finished piece. I'm trying to get all the glue strings off my hand. It is a little fidgety, you know, picking off some of the glue strings and that kind of thing. Now, you could do so many things at this point. You could paint these. You could antique them with sort of a watered down, almost like a coffee style medium, if you will. You could spray these with spray adhesive and cover them in glitter. I wanted to use some glitter. I didn't have any spray adhesive, so I wanted to experiment with a different technique that it sort of worked and didn't work. I don't know how I feel about it, but you know, it looks like an old ornament, so I kind of like that feel. But you could do so many things. You could, of course, put something in the center and embellish it, you know, a jewel or all kinds of different things. I didn't have anything on hand for that at the moment. So I'm just sort of fiddling with it there a little bit to kind of get it equally spaced out. So what my idea here was to put some glue on the mat and get the tips of it wet with glue. And then I want to dip it in glitter. And it didn't go so hot. It's okay. It came out okay. But I would, you know, a spray adhesive would work really good. Or actually even just dipping it in a much thicker base of glue. Because it's not perfectly flat. So you have high points and low points. So I have this glitter that I want to use. It's called Pumpkin is the color. And it's by Barbara Trombley. I've never heard of her. I picked these up at there's this great craft place that I go to that has it's like a yard sale for craft stuff. Anyway, I picked a whole kit of these up there, and it's called Pumpkin, and it's opaque, but it feels really like almost like a copper to me. Okay, so that didn't go perfectly the way I envisioned it, so I'm just going to touch it up a little bit more, but it's okay. It came out okay. It would look great on a package, you know, or even on a tree, or just as you know, on a mantle as an embellishment, or any kind of decor. If you need some tablescapes, these would be gorgeous. If you're having dinner, you could hang these like from your chandelier and have it, you know, over the table. That would be beautiful. So I'm just sort of adding a little bit more and kind of re-dipping it just to give it a little bit more. And then I'm going to repeat the process on the other side and get that coated on both sides. If you're returning here, welcome back. I really appreciate you. Please be sure to like and comment. It really helps not only me, but it helps other people find the video that are interested in this kind of stuff. And that's really the importance of doing that. Love to know your thoughts. Have you ever tried to make ornaments with paper towel or toilet paper rolls? I know it's a super common craft. This is a great craft to do with kids. And I'll bet you could use a like an Elmer's extra strength craft bond glue stick type thing with kids to make it a little easier, and they would just have to sort of hold the pieces a little bit longer. You could probably use some clothespins to help out with that. Might make it easy. And of course you don't necessarily have to do the glitter part. I know that can be messy with kids, but I kind of actually like the way this came out. At first I was like, oh, I don't know what I did here, but I actually kind of like it. Now, of course, you could really spray this with some adhesive pretty well and dip it in an entire tray of glitter, and that might really give it a much more solid coat. Okay, so now we're going to make some vintage paper ornaments. I just used that It's a modern arithmetic book that I picked up at an estate sale for a quarter, I think. I don't usually pay more than 50 cents for those types of things. And we're going to make this giant paper snowflake, and I didn't measure the page. Of course, you could, whatever page size you have will sort of dictate the end size of the ornament. So if you went with a smaller book, you'd have a slightly smaller ornament, or larger, you would have a larger one. I wouldn't get too large. This is probably in the neighborhood of 4x6. Much bigger than that, I think it would be a challenge to get to hold its shape. So what I did was I folded them in half, and then I just then folding them on within themselves again, but I'm overlapping the first one over the seam like 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm overlapping the other one on top of it 1/4 of an inch. Just so that you have something to glue on, and then there's consistency in the way that works out. And then you can just cut in any kind of pattern that you like. I would keep it simple for this one. I'm just cutting in sort of this half moon shape and sort of pointing off my ends. You need 10 pieces of folded paper for this particular ornament, or I love to put these on packages. And then you're just going to glue them all together. And I did not glue all the way up because you're going to open this up and you want it to sort of spread out. So I'm gluing it about 2/3 of the way up. And I think this would really matter based on the size of your page. And it may also matter if you get super small, you may need a few more than 10. You might need 12. Do you have any traditions that you do for making ornaments for the holidays or gift embellishments? It's one of my favorite parts of the holidays is being able to really embellish the gifts and really make them special. It's interesting. I have 2 boys who are now, 25 and 27, and they talk about all the time, how amazing the gifts are that they always got. And it's interesting because even though they are boys, they really appreciated that. So it's kind of my thing. I make sure I really embellish the gifts. But look how cute this is. Now, I don't like personally how the middle is separates a little bit. I'm going to just put a little glue in there. And I'm also going to add an additional layer on this because I just think it's calling for it. So in the video we did the other day where we made some pinwheel ornaments, I'm going to make a small pinwheel to go on top of this, kind of like the center. And I'm just putting a little glue in there just to give it a little bit more body. So I am using a music notes sheet that I had. I'm going to make 4 2-inch strips. And then I'm going to crease these or score these every 1/2 inch. This little detail to me makes such a difference. It's kind of important to do. You, of course, can freehand fold this. I personally don't like to do that. It makes it less enjoyable. This just takes a second to do this, and then it makes it really fast to fold, and it makes a nicer finished product, I think. But you, of course, don't have to do this. If you didn't have a scoreboard, you could just fold this yourself freehand. It doesn't need to be perfect. And then I'm going to glue all those strips together. So I have one long accordion style. And then I will glue the ends together to make a giant accordion circle. And then you just kind of fidget with it a little bit and get it folded within itself so that it forms that pinwheel, if you will. And then you just kind of hold this all together. I'm going to put a little glue in there and wait for that to dry, and then I'll come back and put a circle on there. So I'm going to put this circle on here. And I'll put one on the other side because it will make it have a nice base to glue to the paper ornament. Look how cute that is. So simple to do, right? Now look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. I love it. I love it. I love paper ornaments. I love doing things with paper in general. And I feel like when you give a gift like this, this really inspires and evokes creativity in other people because they just kind of go, oh wow, this is just paper. And, you know, it kind of inspires people. Okay, look at that. Look at how great that is. Could you imagine getting that on your gift bag or on the top of your present? I mean, wow. Okay, so we're going to do one more. We're going to do a little paper angel. I am taking a bead. I have a pack of beads that I picked up again at a estate sale, I think for $1. And I'm just putting some string in here. I realized that I don't really like this string. It's not really going in there, so I'm going to grab a different string to go in there. This one's just not cooperating. It's a little bit, it's more like a twine, so it's kind of rough. And this one here is more of a yarn, and I think it's more appropriate. So I'm just going to put that through the bead and then tie knots on each side to keep it in position. Many of you may not know that I am actually an award-winning interior designer, and I am toying with the idea of putting out a course for anyone interested in creating their dream studio on a budget, in any space actually. This came about because I just recently created my studio on a no-spend budget, and my husband said to me, he said, you know, I bet a lot of other people would really like to know how to do that. And I thought, wow. And I was just recently in a group on social media, and that subject came up, and I kind of mentioned it, and a lot of people showed interest in it. So anyway, it's something that I'm going to be putting together and launching in the new year. If you have some interest in that, feel free to visit in the descriptions. There's a Your Creativity Matters link that you can sign up to stay in touch with me, and I'll let you know when I'm ready to launch that. But it's going to go into a lot of in-depth detail and really make a big difference in how you plan the space and ways to work with any space and any budget. So anyway, I just thought I would share that. Right now we're just making a paper angel. I took the paper and I did the same thing I did before, make an accordion. I scored it every ½ an inch, folded it up, and now I'm just folding back a third of it to give it sort of the wings. And then I'm going to kind of glue it together. And this particular paper, I didn't even think about it when I was doing it, but it has this really pretty sort of embellishment on the front. It actually added significantly to the look of the angel. So I'm just going to glue this little edge inside here. You could have done that before you stuck them together, but I didn't. I forgot. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more glue at the base of the bead and the top of the angel just to kind of keep it all together there a little bit. And you could, of course, put some embellishments on the front of her. You know, I had a few things that I wasn't really sure that I wanted to do at the moment, so I'm just going to leave it at this point and come back to it at another time. But let me know what you think, and share with me your favorite paper Christmas hobby or tradition that you do. And here's all 3 of our ornaments together that we made. This one's still kind of drying, so it's on the mat. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.